Hi guys, welcome back. So a massive win for the Barbarians, 21-52 to the Barbarians against England. It turned into a crazy exciting game. It was a slow burner to start with, that is for sure. The Barbarians formed a number 10 with their own bodies in the honour of Phil Bennett, the legend, Welsh legend who died recently. Then the game kicks off and straight away there's some poor fumbles from England, and England made a lot of mistakes in this game. I think it was the first carry from Collier. It was a really easy drop. It was an easy pop pass to catch, but he doesn't catch it, and that happened quite a lot. And then Rod gets penalised for going to ground in the scrum, so it's a pretty shocking start. Definitely there's some boos for going for goal from the Barbarians, not going for the corner like true Barbarian style. They miss that, and that teaches them a lesson, and they get going, certainly. Freeman, I thought, was a shining light throughout. Really good under the high ball, good counter-attack, looked very confident. Yeah, I'd say he was probably one of the shining lights because there weren't that many. They definitely tried to use Joe Thokanasiga a lot, and I thought Thokanasiga actually played pretty well. He took a bit of a knock, he was struggling later on, but yeah, he played pretty well, finished his try really well actually. Then we get the first clean break of the game. Now, I'm not getting good on timings in this game because I was watching it from the press gantry there, so I get a good feel of the whole game and what the kind of tactics were and the individual athletic ability, but the actual minutiae of the game not so great on, and actually didn't notice there was a stadium clock as well, so I'm not putting times on any of this. But anyway, so the first break of the game is Smith putting Hill through a huge hole, and Hill is not quick. It looked pretty painful, his running there, but it was a good line. You will expect the Barbarians' defence to be a bit bitty in organisation, although it was very tenacious in line speed, to be fair. Skelton puts a massive hit on Curry. He absolutely folds him in half. Skelton making a big impact to start with. Then Randall puts up quite a big box kick. It looks like it's gone a bit far, but a really good follow-up tackle from Thokanasiga. Yeah, he did some really good stuff. They get a ruck penalty, go to the corner, but it's an overthrow. And in this first portion of the game, England's set piece was pretty ropey. Yep, they didn't have much prep time, but same for the Barbarians. They didn't really bring their set piece to bear until a bit later, and it wasn't a real force throughout, really, which an England team need their set piece to be good. Then it looks like Freeman's got a 2v1 to Marchant, but it's called back for a forward pass. And England are threatening to ignite, and sometimes they do, but again, in fits and spurts, and when they do threaten to break, they tend to make a mistake, and when they do something good, they tend to throw it away with a bad mistake after scoring, for example. Scrums aren't looking good at all. Rod again is penalised on halfway, but they get away with it because Barbars overthrow their line out. England work it wide to Thokanasiga, and it looks like a try is on. Fantastic cover tackle, just completely ends Randall. Brilliant stuff from the Barbarians to scramble there. Then England finally get into a set of consistent attacking phases, and it results in an easy 3 points for Smith. They take those points because it's been a bit of a bitty start, so England go ahead. Then from the kick-off, there's a counter-up from the Barbarians, crossfield kick to Ninashvili, good scramble tackle from England. Vakatawa looks like he's scored, but it's a no try, and it gets brought all the way back to a small deliberate knock-on from May. It is a deliberate knock-on, so it's a yellow card and a penalty try because it looks like it's a 2-on-1 on the outside. So that was really painful, probably the right call, but marginal. So 3-7 to the Barbarians, so things are starting to slip for England. But Big Joe still chasing hard, wins another kick chase penalty, but just tackles the man in the air. Again, split-second stuff, but yeah, probably correct. So 22 minutes gone, and it's a pretty disappointing start for England. There's a bit of a kicking battle at this point, and England actually get the best of it. Some poor catching from the Barbarians at this point. Rod again gets warned about his scrum technique, so that's not looking great. Then the first big moment of the match, a wow moment, and there were plenty after that. A straight interception from Cretan off Randall's ruck pass. You don't see that often. Really, really embarrassing for a scrum half. He goes 60 metres, managed to shrug off the tiny Randall in pursuit. Great try for Cretan. 3-14, Barbarians strike first. Now, England are clearly rattled, and from a penalty on about halfway, they go for the points. It's a long penalty, and Smith misses it, and he has a very bad kicking day off the tee, does Smith. He has his thigh heavily strapped, but he looks good ball in hand and running, so I don't know if that troubled him, but kicking wasn't great today. Now, as we get towards half-time, England finally put some good quick phases together. And to be fair, the Barbarians' defence is up very fast. They're putting Smith under pressure, forcing him to kick, although he's doing pretty well with his kicks from hand, not at goal. Then we see Pinot literally arc round Atkinson, burns him for pace. Atkinson looks really slow, to be honest, and in this match, that stood out. Watching it live, Atkinson, just don't think he's quick enough to play for England. He's got some good attributes, just don't think he's quick enough at all. Runs a bit upright as well in the carry. But anyway, England are lucky. Barbarians should have scored there. Then Underhill makes a decent thrust, and Underhill and Curry I thought actually did pretty well, to be honest. Sets up quick phases, penalty, another easy 3 for Smith. So 6-14, they edge back into it a bit. And then another wow moment, if you like. Schickerling has a trampoline chest, and it's a huge knock-on. But England are lucky because Barbar muck up the advantage. Smith, brilliant. Huge dummy, feeds Freeman. Nice break, clinical 2v1, and Big Joe finishes really well. England needed that. And to make matters worse, I thought this was where the game was going to be won for England. Skelton puts a shoulder into Schickerling after that knock-on, and it's a red card. So red card in the first half, 14 men. England have just scored. Surely I'm thinking, well, England have got to win this game now. So Smith misses the conversion, of course. So England 11-14 to the Barbarians, who are still winning. Now, this is what I'm talking about in this game. England have just done something good. They've scored a good try. Then they implode completely. Now, it is on out wide for Atkinson from deep, but he doesn't loop the pass enough. Pinot manages to bat it up, bobble, gather it, scores the try for the 40-man Barbars. This game is pretty bizarre. They've gone down to 14, conceding a try. Then they just nick one back. So England 11, Barbarians 19, and that's what it's like at half-time. If I was Eddie Jones, I'd definitely be putting a rocket up England there because they haven't managed to string anything together, put any decent pressure together, and they've just given the Barbarians a try there. Anyway, straight away, huge cheer for Kerr when he comes on for Randall, and oh my God, what a shocker from England straight away. They set up the maul, but somehow Bugari takes candy off a baby and steals the ball off the maul. That was pretty painful there for England. And the Barbarians, 14 men, of course, with a huge bust from Tanger up close to the line. And it's Cruz who hoovers it up for the try. What a great send-off Cruz had. It was absolutely rocking towards the end. He scores the try there, and the Barbarians' energy's through the roof. And I think they start believing at this point they can pull off the impossible. So it's 11-26 to the Barbarians. Then Spring, who had a really good game from fullback, great step on Underhill, and he's off, but the offload goes to ground, so that was close. But they need to hoover up as many points as possible, I think, at this point, because I think their 14-man weariness will kick in and catch up with them, but it didn't. Then England managed to string some good attack together, miles better from England. It's a solid set-piece scrum, sets Smith off, doing what he does best, running with ball in hand. And my goodness me, he's good at toying with the opposition with ball in hand, with little steps and jinks. So hard to predict his movements. They get lots of quick go-forward phases off that, and it's Smith in the end who magics May in for a solid step to finish. And where has this been all game? He misses the conversion, of course, but England only 10 points behind with that extra man. I think, okay, now they're going to start to purr. Big Courtney Laws is on for Underhill. He comes on and is great, actually. He looks like a different class compared to some of those other players out there for England. Curry gets moved to 8, poor lad, and I asked him about that in the interview after the game. Now, history repeats itself. England have just done something good, then immediately from kickoff, they do something terrible. They knock on deep in their own half. It's a scrum. They work it wide to the Barbarians, and it's Pinot in acres of room out on the right. TMO and Freeman try to save the day, but the try stands. So Barbarians move ahead just after England look like they're clawing it back. So 16-31. And they're doing this all the time. Whenever England do something good, Barbarians come back with a score. They're killing themselves, but the Barbarians are finishing very nicely. Interesting point here, Marchant goes off, who was okay but didn't have a lot to do. Noel comes on at 13. Now, that's quite interesting, and the first touch he forces a knock-on from a tackle, and he does work very nicely in and around the ruck. So I do say Noel's a good player. He hasn't really got the pace to play on the wing. So is 13 something to have a look at? I don't know if he's going to be a world-class 13, but I think it's a better shout than maybe on the wing. And I make another note here, oh my God, Atkinson playing out the back is not a good idea. Just so slow, the Barbarians rush up, collar him, get a turnover. Another point to say I don't think he's quick enough for this level. But England, they've got some good attack in them. As I said in my interview with Danny Kerr, some of their attack looked really, really good. They just couldn't sustain it for very long. It's Curry with a great drive. I thought Curry played pretty well, to be honest, considering he doesn't get played in his favourite position. Pumping his legs in attack. May doesn't even look for the 2-on-1, which is pretty annoying out on the left, but England do recycle it. And in the end, 14-man Barbarians ran out of bodies, and it's Smith that runs it in on the right. And like I said, ball in hand, Smith great, kicking at goal, awful, he misses it. It looks a certainty that Farrell's going to play 12 in Australia and kick at goal. So England pull it back to 10 points again, 21-31 to the Barbarians. But can they actually not implode off kickoff? And I think they do better this time. Lords with that big impact, Big Joe and Jack Noel working in around the tight. And I think, right, now was the time England are going to come back into it. But turnover penalty puts England straight back their own end, and they really struggled in that ruck. Suggestions from Eddie Jones, the ref was letting a bit go. But in my interview with Jack Willis, he did say, look, we didn't resource the ruck properly as well. Lizo Carbonell is on at 12, and I think, okay, that's interesting. The big man, the demolition man, Bottier is off. Is this going to go badly? Well, actually, no, he scored pretty much straight away. It's an unbelievable chip, and Carbonell gathers it before Danny Kerr can get there. So, again, England do something good. Then they give the Barbarians an opportunity. That was a great try, 21-38. Smith putting in some nice grubbers. Lords being super physical. May looks like he's free to go around the side, but Pinot catches him easily. Again, May, I just don't think is quick enough anymore. He's a good, solid player, but his USP is now gone. He's just not the quickest player around. He's just good. Anyway, Kerr almost frees Smith, and they're playing some good stuff. Kerr, Smith, Noel popping it in the round. It's looking quite exciting, but they are quite a long way behind now. But then there's a knock-on, and the Barbarians counter. It's a brilliant counter-attack. A brilliant infield kick. It's genius stuff. Noel's not quite quick enough to catch Spring, who scores under the posts. Fantastic stuff. Cruz is taking some of the conversions now. The crowd's really turned. They're on the Barbarian side. It's getting to party time, 21:45. And I've written here, it's all over. There's no time now. Barbarians get another good turnover to really dispel any England comeback. And it's lovely interplay from Noel, like I said, but Johnny Hill, he's a bit slow and he can't pass as well, so he fires a long pass well over Freeman's head. Not the best. And it's party time in the crowd. Like I said, they're completely behind the Barbarians. Cruz gets another conversion. There's a try, length of the pitch try. Cruz gets another conversion. The Barbarians form like a guard of honour, clapping all the way. After the game, Cruz gets the bumps, so they run off round the pitch. Pitch invaders come on, the Barbarians grab them, hug them and give them the bumps as well, like chucking them up in the air. It's just good fun, really. England have got smashed, but I think everyone got into the spirit of the Barbarians, so they really deserve their win. It was an entertaining game, really, really painful for England. And yeah, have a look at my videos on the press conference from Eddie Jones and you'll see how painful it was for him, and then also watch the press conference for the Barbarians and see how much fun they had and how battered and bruised George Cruz is after all their partying and training in the week and the game. Good stuff. Anyway, guys, pop the comments below. And I'll also come back with a vlog about the day later in the week, just talking you through what it's like to, have a press pass at a Twickenham game. Anyway, guys, good stuff. Comments below, and I'll catch you next time.